You ever get tired of explaining yourself to people who never had your best interest at heart? Tired of showing up for folks who only show up when it's convenient for them? Tired of fighting battles in rooms you don't belong in? Proving your worth to people who never saw it to begin with? Let me tell you something. There is a different kind of power that comes when you learn to move in silence. When you no longer feel the need to announce your every move. When you let your growth speak louder than your words ever could. Listen to me. You don't have to shout to be seen. You don't have to fight to win. You don't have to stress to succeed. The smartest people, the strongest ones, they walk with peace in their mind and purpose in their steps. They play the long game. They let people underestimate them. Because while everyone's talking, they're building quietly, relentlessly, calmly. You ever notice how the loudest ones in the room are often the ones doing the least? The ones bragging the most, proving the most, shouting for attention, those are the ones still trying to figure themselves out. But the ones who've been through something, the ones who've grown in the dark, who've bled in silence, who've carried their pain with grace, they walk in quiet. That silence isn't weakness, it's restraint, it's wisdom, it's power that doesn't need permission to be recognized. There's a reason lions don't roar every time they move. You think silence is just the absence of noise. No, silence is presence. It's self-retreat. It's the voice of someone who's confident in who they are without needing anyone else to clap for them. In silence, you're not hiding. You're building. You're watching. You're learning. The ones who master the art of silence know that most people talk to impress, but very few act to express who they really are. Silence gives you vision. In noise, you miss things. You overlook details. You make quick judgments. But in silence, you observe differently. You hear what's not being said. You notice body language, tone, energy. You begin to read people without them even speaking. You learn the rhythm of things, the flow of life, the timing of decisions, the value of patience. Most people are too loud to even hear themselves think. But when you're silent, you listen not just to others, but to yourself. You get in tune with your own thoughts, your own spirit. And that's where clarity begins. That's where peace starts. That's where the path reveals itself. While others are busy posting about success, you're quietly becoming it. While they argue, compete, and chase applause, you're out there refining your skills, building your kingdom brick by brick, day by day, in silence. You're not missing out. You're catching up with your future. And don't get it twisted. Silence isn't passive. It's strategic. Sometimes saying nothing is the most calculated move you can make, not because you're afraid to speak, but because you understand not every battle is worth the energy. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every rumor needs correcting. You see, when your identity is rooted in truth, you don't need to chase approval. You don't need to defend your name. You just keep doing what you do, and eventually your silence will echo louder than their noise. Let them talk, let them guess, let them assume. That's their distraction, not yours. Your silence protects your energy. It guards your intentions. It shields your heart from the nonsense. Because when you start talking too much, you give people access to things they didn't earn. But when you remain quiet, when you operate in mystery, you become untouchable. And the world won't understand you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant, cold. They'll say you're hiding something. But they won't realize you're just moving different now. You're not trying to be seen. You're trying to stay focused. That's what silence does. It separates you from chaos and brings you closer to your purpose, because you know what it's like to explain your heart to people who never cared. You know the pain of opening up to those who used your truth against you. You learned the hard way that peace is found when your mouth is closed and your spirit is guarded. You learned that the loudest thing you can do is heal in silence, build in silence, succeed in silence. And when the time is right, when the season is ripe, the world will see what you've been becoming, but only after it's done. And when you start moving in silence, something else happens. People start to feel your absence more than they ever felt your presence. They notice the quiet. They wonder what you're up to. They sense the shift. But by then, you're already 10 steps ahead. You're too far gone to explain. Too focused to slow down. You don't move to impress anymore. You move to transform. There's a silent power in someone who's been through the storm, but came out walking, not talking. Not everything needs to be shared. Not every blessing needs to be posted. Some victories are too sacred for applause. Some levels are meant to be enjoyed privately. That's how you know you've matured. When you don't need the noise to feel alive. You don't need the crowd to feel worthy. You're good with you, you're aligned, you're grounded. And you protect that peace like your life depends on it, because it does. There was a time when you needed validation. You needed someone to say you're doing great. You needed a hand clap, a cheer, a pat on the back. But now you've learned how to clap for yourself in the dark. You've learned how to show up for yourself when no one else does. That's the fruit of silence. It builds inner strength that no storm can shake. You become your own home, your own motivation, your own protector. And it's not that you don't love people anymore. It's that you love yourself enough to keep your path clear. And sometimes the only way to do that is to stop explaining, stop proving, and just keep moving. Not out of pride, but out of purpose. Not because you're trying to isolate, but because you're trying to elevate. You've learned the truth. Elevation requires separation. And look, some folks won't respect your silence. They'll poke, they'll prod. They'll try to trigger you just to get a reaction. They're addicted to noise. They live for drama. But you're not going back to that. You've done your time in the chaos. You've lived in rooms full of noise and emptiness. You've been surrounded by voices but still felt alone. That's why you value your silence now. It's not just about avoiding stress. It's about choosing peace. It's about building in a space where you're not constantly defending, justifying, or explaining yourself. You've got nothing to prove. You've already proven it to yourself. And once that happens, nobody else's opinion carries weight anymore. You ever been in a room full of people and felt completely drained? That's because energy speaks louder than words. And when you're in tune with yourself, you can feel the noise even when no one's talking. That's why you retreat. That's why you go silent. It's not avoidance, it's alignment. You're tuning out the world so you can tune into your spirit. Because in silence, you hear the whispers of your purpose. You feel the direction your life is pulling you in. You sense the calling on your name. And once you start following that, you stop chasing what everyone else is chasing. Their race ain't your race. Their timeline ain't your timeline. And their noise can't drown out your destiny. Unless you let it. So yes, you're quiet now. Yes, you move different. Yes, you don't share everything. And that's okay. That's growth. That's power. The strongest trees don't make a sound when they grow, but they stand firm through every season. You're becoming like that, steady, rooted, unshakable. While others are distracted by attention, you're mastering your discipline. While they argue over opinions, you're learning the art of timing. While they flash their potential, you're perfecting your purpose. And maybe they don't see it yet. Maybe they don't understand what you're building, but one day they will. Not because you told them, but because your life showed them. That's the power of silence. You don't need to announce your greatness. You just need to live it. Everybody wants it fast. Fast money, fast fame, fast love. But let me tell you something. Anything that comes too fast, don't last. That microwave mindset, heated up in seconds and expected to feed your soul, will leave you hungry in the long run. Playing the long game means you're planting seeds, not chasing shortcuts. It means you're thinking like a farmer, not a gambler. And farmers, they know patience. They know you don't plant a seed on Monday and eat a harvest on Tuesday. They know that real growth, the kind that lasts, takes time, weather, storms, and faith. Playing the long game is about vision. It's about seeing beyond this moment and saying, I may not have it now, but I will, because I'm doing it the right way. And the right way? It's not always easy, but it's worth it. See, the long game forces you to build character while you build dreams. Because if the blessing arrives before you're ready, it can destroy you. People want the spotlight, but they don't want to sweat backstage. They want the crown, but not the cross. And that's the danger of rushing success. You end up on platforms your soul ain't ready to stand on. But when you take your time, when you commit to the process, when you fall in love with the grind and not just the goal, that's when something real is being built inside of you, something deep, something powerful. That's when you become the kind of person who can carry the weight of the future you say you want. Playing the long game teaches you that what you're building in you is more important than what's happening around you. It's internal before it's external. And let's be honest, it's hard. Playing the long game means choosing discipline over dopamine. It means watching other people rise quickly while you're still in the shadows. It means clapping for others even when your hands feel empty. It means trusting the process even when you can't trace the progress. And that's the part nobody talks about. The lonely nights, the doubts, the second guessing, the voice inside that says, maybe I should quit. but you don't. Because deep down, you know what you're building is bigger than a moment. It's a legacy. It's not just about you. It's about the people who are going to be blessed because you didn't give up. Playing the long game makes you tough. It makes you wise. It makes you resilient in ways no quick win ever could. Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they don't have endurance. They don't have staying power. They burn out chasing things that weren't even meant for them. But you're different. You're not looking for a finish line. You're building a life. That takes intention, that takes sacrifice, that takes walking away from what's easy so you can step into what's eternal. Sometimes that means turning down opportunities that don't align with your purpose. Sometimes it means going silent, going broke, going unnoticed for a season so you can grow strong enough to handle the next one. Don't despise those seasons. Don't curse the slow days. The long game is about trusting divine timing. When it's yours, it'll come. But if it's rushed, it'll collapse. Let it grow right. Every time you choose to show up, even when you don't feel like it, that's the long game. Every time you choose to study instead of scroll, build instead of boast, reflect instead of react, that's the long game. Every time you wake up and put in the work, unseen, uncelebrated, that's the long game. And the reward? It's deeper than a check or a trophy. It's knowing you became someone unshakable. You became someone trustworthy. You became someone who didn't just get to the top, but stayed there with integrity. Because let's be real, anyone can climb, but only the wise know how to stay grounded while rising. That's the difference between hype and legacy. And legacy takes time. Don't let the world rush you. Don't let the numbers lie to you. Just because it's not going viral doesn't mean it's not valuable. Just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not effective. You're not behind, you're being built. And sometimes God delays the spotlight so your roots can grow deeper. He's not punishing you, he's preparing you. Because what's coming is heavy, it's weighty. And if your foundation ain't strong, the blessing could break you. So he lets you sit in the quiet. He lets you wrestle with doubt. He lets you question. Not to harm you, but to form you. That's the long game. That's what growth feels like. It's not always glamorous, but it's always necessary. And while others chase moments, you're chasing mastery. You're not trying to be popular for a day. You're trying to be impactful for a lifetime. That's different. That's rare. And that's why the road feels lonely sometimes. Because not everyone's playing the long game. Some people just want applause. But you want alignment, you want meaning, you want purpose. And to get that, you got to walk through the fire. You got to say no when it's easier to say yes. You got to keep your head down and your faith up. You got to keep showing up when nobody notices. But let me promise you this, the seeds you're planting in this season, they will produce fruit, not just for you, but for generations. It's a long game, but it's a good one. The kind of game where you don't just win in the end, you grow along the way. You learn how to carry peace even in pressure. You learn how to find joy even in the journey. You learn how to keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Every delay has purpose. Every setback has a lesson. Every quiet season has a breakthrough inside it. But only those who stay the course will taste it. Only those who wait will witness it. Not everyone has the patience to see it through. But if you do, you'll become a living testimony that timing is everything and faithfulness never fails. So keep building, keep believing, keep trusting in what's unfolding. You don't have to shout about it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to rush it. You just have to keep showing up with discipline, humility, and consistency. That's what separates the noise from the real ones. That's what takes you from dreaming to delivering. That's what transforms a vision into a legacy. And when it finally comes, when all the pieces fall into place, you won't be surprised. Because deep down, you always knew it would happen because you played the long game. You ever met someone who talks too much but delivers too little? They tell you what they're going to do, what they plan to do, what they could have done. But when it's time to show up, all you get is silence. That's the problem today. Everybody's trying to impress with noise. But real power, real strength, it moves in silence. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need announcements. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency tell the story. Because at the end of the day, your results are louder than your words. You want respect? Earn it. Not by saying you're great, but by showing you're disciplined, focused, and unshakable. There's nothing more dangerous than a focused soul who doesn't need validation, because they're already proving themselves through action. You don't have to convince people who you are when your results are screaming it, when your life is evidence, when your behavior is loud without saying a word. People love to boast about the future, but they ignore the present. You can talk about your dream all day, but if you're not working in silence behind closed doors, you're just making noise. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's saying, I'm not here to be noticed, I'm here to be effective. Every early morning you grind when no one's watching, every sacrifice you make, every time you show up without recognition, you are building a legacy that speaks louder than anything your mouth ever could. And trust me, when it's real, you won't need to say a word. People will see it in the way you carry yourself, in the life you live, in the fruit you produce. You want to shift your life? Stop announcing moves and start making them. Stop telling people your next step and let them feel the impact when you take it. Because real warriors don't fight with noise, they fight with precision. Quiet, focused, relentless. That's how you become unstoppable. It's easy to pretend when people are looking. But the question is, what are you doing when nobody's around? When it's just you, your thoughts, your grind, and your goals. That's where champions are made. That's where you separate yourself. Let your actions be your response to doubt. Let your actions be your reply to every person who underestimated you. You don't need to defend yourself. Your results will be your greatest revenge. People love to post about their hustle, but if you really grind and you don't have time to post, you're too busy planting seeds. And while the world is flexing for attention, you're building in silence. You're stacking quiet wins. You're becoming stronger, smarter, sharper, not for approval, not for claps, but because you know what's at stake. Your future doesn't need permission, it needs action. You don't need more likes, you need more discipline. You don't need more followers, you need more follow through. The loudest room ain't the most powerful, it's the most distracted. But the quiet ones, they're moving mountains. So don't envy the noise. Build in the dark and let your life shine in the light. The people who win in life, they're the ones who master restraint, who learn to sit with their dreams quietly and work on them every day without needing an audience. Because truth is, not everybody deserves access to your process. Some things grow better in silence. Some victories are best served cold, without warning, without buildup, without a sound. Let your success interrupt the noise. Let your progress cut through the distraction. There's something beautiful about shocking people with results they didn't see coming. Because you were too focused to boast, too locked in to explain, too busy becoming the version of you that doesn't have to speak, because life speaks for them. And here's the real thing. They're watching, even when you think nobody is. They see your discipline. They notice your elevation. They feel your energy. So while others are talking, keep walking. Keep showing up. Keep doing the hard things in silence. That's how you earn respect without saying a word. That's how you shake rooms without opening your mouth, because in a world obsessed with image, the rarest thing you can be is real. Let your work ethic be the loudest thing about you. Let your focus intimidate. Let your growth speak for the sleepless nights, the lonely seasons, the silent grind. You don't need to explain your value. You just need to live it. Let your integrity be louder than your voice. Let your consistency speak louder than your voice. People may not clap now, but one day they'll ask how you did it. And your only answer will be, I let my actions do the talking. I let my grind tell the story. I stopped trying to convince the world and started becoming undeniable. See, real impact doesn't need hashtags, it doesn't need declarations, it just needs time, and time always reveals the truth. So give it time. Keep showing up, keep building, and while the world scrolls through noise, you're building substance. While others seek to be seen, you're working to be significant. And significance, that lasts, that stays, that echoes long after the noise fades. Because in the end, actions outlive words. Habits outlive hype. And character is the only thing that stands when everything else falls. So walk with purpose, move with strength, and let the results speak on your behalf. When people doubt you, don't argue, outwork. When they criticize, don't shrink, level up. When they try to distract you, don't react. Stay locked in. Because the truth is, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who doesn't need to speak. The one who is so grounded in purpose, so committed to the mission, so connected to their calling, they don't need to make noise to make waves. They just move, and the world adjusts. Be that person, the silent force, the storm behind the calm, the quiet achiever. Because at the end of the day, the ones who change the world aren't always the loudest. They're the most faithful, the most focused, the most consistent. So remember this: every step you take in silence is building a future that screams excellence. Every action you take without needing attention is carving a path of true greatness. Let your actions speak. Let your work announce you. Let your results walk into rooms your voice never had to. That's the real flex. That's the quiet power. That's how legends are made. Let me tell you something. There's a kind of pain in this life that comes from being stuck in the same place for too long. And it's not always about location. It's a mental place, an emotional prison. You wake up one day and you don't recognize who you've become. You've been so busy trying to keep up with everyone else, trying to please people, trying to meet standards that were never yours to begin with, that you lost sight of the one person you were supposed to grow. You. Personal growth isn't just a suggestion, it's survival. It's the path out of the mess, out of the cycle, out of the numb routine you keep calling life. It's time to stop feeding distractions and start watering your soul. The moment you decide to focus on your own growth, people will get uncomfortable. That's the truth they don't tell you. Because the minute you stop being who they expect you to be and start becoming who you were created to be, you upset the narrative. You change the energy. And not everyone can handle the new version of you, but that's okay. This journey ain't about proving people wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you can be more. Stronger, wiser, more self-aware, more disciplined. You got to start asking yourself the hard questions. Who am I becoming? Am I evolving, or am I just existing? Because if you're not growing, you're dying, slowly, quietly. And the scariest part, nobody else will even notice until it's too late. You want peace? Focus on your growth. You want clarity? Focus on your growth. You want to stop feeling lost? Focus on your growth. Not gossip, not blame, not distractions, growth. Because growth doesn't lie. It exposes what you've been avoiding. It shines a light on what you need to heal. It demands discipline, not comfort, but it rewards you with freedom. A kind of internal freedom that no one can take from you. See, personal growth isn't loud, it's private. It's you choosing to sit in silence and face your truth. It's you learning how to be honest with yourself. No mask, no act, just raw self-confrontation. That's the price of leveling up. And let me tell you something else. You can't grow trying to fix everyone else. You can't grow dragging dead weight. Some people are lessons, not lifelong partners. Some environments are temporary, not destinations. You can't heal in the same place that broke you. And you can't become who you're meant to be if you keep surrounding yourself with who you used to be. Growth demands separation. It demands solitude. It demands that you learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, without applause, without permission, without being rescued, because growth is personal, is sacred, and only you can walk that path. Some days you won't see progress. You'll question if any of it is working. If waking up early, journaling, reading, meditating, exercising, cutting off toxic people is even making a dent. And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. Growth is invisible before it becomes undeniable. Just because the seed is underground doesn't mean it's not growing. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes faith in the process. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be. And that gap, that's growth. That's courage. That's power. Don't stop. Keep watering your soil. Keep investing in your inner world, because your outer world will catch up in due time. Stop looking for quick fixes. Growth ain't fast. Growth is slow and painful, but it's real, and anything real takes time. We live in a world that's addicted to shortcuts. Everybody wants to glow, but don't want the grind. They want results without the refinement. But you're different. You're choosing the long road, the hard path, and that's the one that changes you. That's the one that stretches you into the best version of yourself. Don't envy the people sprinting past you. Half of them are running on fumes, but you're building something that'll last. Something that's rooted. Something that doesn't fall apart when the storm hits. And don't wait for permission to grow. Don't wait for people to clap for your healing. This is between you and the future you. This is between the broken version of you and the rising one. You've got a destiny that doesn't require validation. Only commitment. Are you willing to fight for your growth? Are you willing to face your insecurities, your fears, your habits? Because growth isn't just about adding things. It's about removing what no longer serves you, and sometimes that means letting go of who you thought you were so you can finally become who you're meant to be. That's the price. That's the beauty. It's not going to be easy. Some days you'll relapse, you'll fall back into old patterns, but hear me. Falling doesn't mean failure. It means you're in the fight. It means you're stretching. Every step back is just a chance to leap forward with more wisdom. Don't beat yourself up, grow through it. Learn from it, adjust, evolve. Because the version of you that you're fighting to become, they're already waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. You just got to keep walking. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. In silence, in faith, in discipline. And watch who you become in the process. You don't need a perfect plan, you need consistent progress. You don't need external motivation, you need internal conviction. Every book you read, every time you say no to distractions, every day you choose growth over comfort, you're separating yourself, you're building something deeper, something stronger. You're becoming someone who doesn't chase trends but builds character. You're creating peace that isn't borrowed, a foundation that can't be shaken. Because when you focus on personal growth, you stop chasing people, titles, approval. You realize that everything you were searching for was inside you all along. You just had to grow into it. So no matter what happens, stay on this path. No matter who leaves, no matter who doubts, no matter how slow it feels, stay focused on your growth. Because when the dust settles, when the noise fades, when the crowd disappears, it's you versus you. And if you've grown through the pain, if you've stayed true to the path, if you've refused to give up on yourself, then you'll look in the mirror one day and see someone unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. That's the reward. That's the victory. That's the power of focusing on your personal growth. Keep going. There comes a point in your life where you realize not everything that demands your attention deserves it. This world is loud, real loud. Opinions flying at you. Criticism cloaked as concern. Drama disguised as entertainment. Everybody got something to say, and most of it ain't helping you grow. And if you're not careful, if you're not grounded, you'll start listening to that noise. You'll start doubting yourself. Start questioning your path. Start shrinking to fit the small expectations other people have for your life. But you weren't built to blend in. You weren't created to follow the noise. You were made to rise above it. The noise is a distraction. The noise is a test. And the more you grow, the louder it gets. Don't let the chaos fool you. The loudest voices are often the most insecure. The ones pointing fingers, throwing shade, spreading rumors. They're not chasing greatness. They're avoiding their own reflection. And when you start walking in purpose, when you start building something real, when you choose discipline over distraction, you become a mirror to those who gave up on themselves. And that scares them. That threatens them, that noise. It's not about you, it's about them. So don't stop. Don't clap back. Don't explain yourself. Keep building in silence. Let them talk. Let the noise bounce off your peace. You see, focus is a superpower. In a world obsessed with distractions, being locked in on your purpose makes you dangerous. And don't get it twisted, the noise will always come when you're close to something great. That's how the enemy works. It throws chaos right before your breakthrough, tries to shake your spirit, tries to break your rhythm. That's when you got to double down, not just on your vision, but on your discipline, on your mindset, on your faith. The noise can only affect you if you turn your ear to it. Don't give the world that kind of power. Your energy is too precious to be wasted on nonsense. People will talk whether you succeed or fail. That's just how it goes. So if they're going to talk, you might as well give them something worth talking about. Let them gossip about your grind. Let them speculate about your next move. Let your success be your silence. You don't need to argue with critics when your results speak for you. You don't need to post every step when your growth is unfolding behind closed doors. The loudest moves often fizzle out, but the quiet ones, the consistent ones, those are the moves that shake the ground. Stay low, stay sharp, and keep building in the shadows. Noise is designed to steal your time, steal your attention, steal your potential. Every second you spend entertaining drama, scrolling through negativity, reacting to distractions, you're feeding the wrong beast. You're delaying your own evolution. And for what? Validation from people who don't even know your heart? Approval from a crowd that doesn't even respect themselves? No, you're not here for that. You're not here to entertain. You're here to execute. You're here to transform. And that means you got to learn how to guard your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Let me make something clear. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is strength. It takes real power to not react, to not stoop, to not explain, to trust that time will reveal what truth never needed to announce. The noise will try to bait you, pull you out of character, make you question yourself. But if you know who you are, if you're rooted in purpose, you won't need to scream to be heard. The right people will feel you without you having to say a word. And the wrong ones, they were never listening anyway. You ever notice how the loudest rooms are often filled with the least accomplished voices? That's not a coincidence. People who are doing the work don't have time to talk about others. They're too busy building, too busy growing, too busy healing. So when you find yourself surrounded by noise, step back. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this aligned with where I'm going? Because if it isn't, it's not worth your energy. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. The more you rise, the more intentional you have to be about what you allow into your spirit. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay if people don't get it right now. Growth is often quiet. Purpose is often lonely. And the deeper you go, the fewer people you'll find at your level. Don't let that scare you. Let it sharpen you. The noise will try to convince you to water yourself down, to play small, to fit in. But that's not your assignment. You're not here to blend. You're here to become. And becoming requires silence. It requires pruning. It requires stepping away from the crowd so you can hear your own voice again. That's where the real answers live. Don't chase the applause. Don't chase the reaction. Chase the vision. Chase the discipline. Chase the version of you that's waiting on the other side of consistency. The noise will always be there, but you don't have to be available for it. Let them think you're quiet. Let them think you're slipping. Let them doubt. Because while they're watching you, you're working. While they're talking, you're transforming. And one day they'll look up and see a version of you that's undeniable, unshakable, unrecognizable. And it won't be because you talked about it. It'll be because you walked through it. So don't get distracted by noise. Stay rooted, stay focused, stay hungry. The world doesn't need another person caught up in chaos. It needs someone who can walk through storms with stillness. Someone who can move in silence and still shake the room. And that someone is you. Keep your eyes on your mission. Keep your spirit clean. Don't just talk about what you're going to do it. Quietly, boldly, consistently. Because when the dust settles, when the noise fades, the only thing that'll matter is what you built when nobody was clapping. That's your legacy. Protect it. There's a kind of strength this world doesn't talk about enough. The strength to wait. The strength to sit in the silence. To move without rushing. To keep the faith when nothing around you is changing. See, everybody wants things fast. Fast money, fast recognition, fast results. But real power, real elevation, it don't come overnight. It's built in the dark, in the waiting room of life. Patience isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing consistently, even when it looks like it's not working. It's about trusting the seed you planted before you ever see a single sprout. And that takes courage. That takes vision. That takes a level of discipline most people will never understand. The truth is, most people give up right before the blessing shows up. They walk away from the door while it's being unlocked because they thought it would come quick. They thought life owed them something for showing up. But greatness isn't a microwave. It's a slow roast. And while you're out there waiting, while you're out there grinding in silence, your character is being tested. Your patience is being stretched. But don't you dare mistake delay for denial. Just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not on the way. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Every struggle, every disappointment, every lonely moment in the dark, it's shaping you. It's making you sturdy, making you ready, because you can't carry the weight of a big dream with fragile hands. You have to grow into it. And patience is the pressure that makes sure when that door finally opens, you're not the same person who knocked. That version of you who started the journey, they're not ready for what's coming. But the version of you that's walking through this fire, waiting with grace, trusting the process, even through the silence, that's the one who'll be able to hold the blessing without fumbling it. Let's be real, waiting hurts, not because you're weak, but because you care. You want it so bad you can taste it. You've sacrificed, you've worked, you've stayed up at night visualizing what it would feel like to finally arrive, and yet you're still in the hallway, still being told not yet. That's a hard pill to swallow. But here's the thing, the hallway is holy ground. That's where your roots go deep. That's where your endurance is built. You don't grow under spotlights. You grow in the silence. You grow in the pauses. You grow in the moments that test your patience to its limits. You have to understand what's meant for you is already yours. It's just waiting for you to mature into the person who can handle it. There are blessings with your name on them that won't come early, no matter how hard you try. Because early success can destroy you if you don't have the foundation. And patience, that's the foundation. It humbles you, it stretches you, it teaches you to value the work, not just the reward. And once you learn to wait without giving up, you become unstoppable. Because now your power isn't just in your talent, it's in your timing. This world will try to convince you that you're behind, that you're too late, that everyone else is moving faster. But the race isn't to the swift, it's to the steadfast. To the one who understands that a slow grind often produces the strongest shine. When you're patient, you stop comparing, you stop rushing, you start living with purpose, not pressure. And that's when everything shifts. That's when peace shows up in the waiting. That's when you realize this delay is not a mistake. It's alignment. It's protection. It's preparation for something bigger than you can see right now. You see, patience doesn't just make you wait, it transforms you while you wait. It rewires your thinking, it toughens your spirit. It teaches you to trust God's pace instead of forcing your own. Because some things, no matter how bad you want them, are not ready to be received yet. And sometimes you're not ready to receive them. But that doesn't mean they're never coming. You just need to keep doing your part quietly, faithfully, without needing to be seen. That's how the breakthrough finds you, not through noise, but through consistency. Everybody wants the crown, but not everyone wants the character that can carry it. And character is born in patience. In moments where quitting would be easier. In seasons where you feel overlooked. That's where the warriors are made, not on stages, but in solitude, not with cheers, but in silence. And when your time comes, and it will, you'll step into it not as someone who stumbled into favor, but as someone who earned it in the dark. Somebody who kept believing, kept walking, even when it didn't make sense. That's the kind of legacy worth building. That's the power of patience. So keep your head down, keep your heart open, keep showing up for yourself even when nobody's watching, because patience isn't passive, it's powerful. It's what separates the great from the average, the ones who make noise from the ones who make history. The noise will fade, the hype will die down, but the ones who stayed the course, who built brick by brick, step by step, they'll still be standing when the smoke clears. And their stories, they won't just inspire, they'll last. And you were born for that kind of endurance. You just have to wait well. Not everyone around you is really for you. That's the hard truth most people ignore. See, when your heart is big, when your intentions are pure, you assume others are built the same. But life will teach you. Sometimes the people closest to you are the very ones slowing you down, draining your energy, or preying on your downfall in silence. That's why you got to learn how to keep your circle small. Not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. Not because you're better than anyone, but because peace, purpose, and elevation require protection. You don't need a crowd to win. You need alignment. The loudest people aren't always the most loyal. Some just stick around to watch your next move, to gather information, to compete silently, to measure themselves against your progress. That's why silence and distance can be powerful tools. You don't have to explain when you pull back. You don't have to defend the boundaries you set. Protecting your energy is not being cold, it's being clear. It's understanding that growth demands discernment. And when your purpose gets louder, your circle naturally gets quieter. That's not loss. That's refinement. That's God removing what can't go where He's taking you. Small circles don't mean small dreams. In fact, it's the opposite. When your dreams are massive, your circle must be tight. You don't need 20 people in your corner. You need 2 or 3 who truly believe in you, who tell you the truth when it hurts, who celebrate you in private, defend you in public, and never switch up when things get real. That kind of loyalty can't be bought. It's earned, and it's rare. So when you find it, hold it close. Everybody smiling with you ain't smiling for you, and everybody calling you family ain't built from the same fabric. There's freedom in keeping your circle small, because when your space is protected, your mind gets quieter, your heart gets stronger, and your path gets clearer. You stop second-guessing yourself because there's no outside noise to confuse your spirit. You stop seeking validation because the real ones in your life already see your worth. You move with more intention, more peace, and suddenly your progress speeds up. Not because you're doing more, but because you're no longer dragging dead weight. Some people were never meant to go with you. They were just part of your training. Let them go. People will call you distant, selfish, or even arrogant when you start to protect your peace. Let them. You don't owe access to people who don't bring value to your soul. You're not being rude by setting boundaries. You're being responsible with your time, with your energy, with your future, because the wrong people in your circle will cost you more than money. They'll cost you peace, focus, and even your identity if you're not careful. So stop trying to keep everyone happy. Start honoring what you need. Start checking the fruit people bear, not just the words they speak. It's easy to attract company when you're winning, but pay attention to who claps when you're struggling, who prays for you without being asked, who shows up not because it benefits them, but because they care. Those are your people, and chances are it won't be a large number, because real support is rare in a world obsessed with image. Most people don't want to grow with you, they just want to be around the glow, but the glow fades, the light goes dim, and when it does, you find out real quick who was walking with you and who was just watching. A small circle gives you space to be human. You can fall, cry, struggle, and not feel judged. You can be real without performing. You can grow without the pressure to impress. That's what makes a tight circle so powerful. It's a safe space in a noisy world, a place where ego dies and authenticity lives. And when you've got that, even just 1 or 2 people like that, you've got wealth, you've got strength. Because life isn't about how many people know your name, it's about how many people truly know your soul. So if you're in a season of solitude, don't resent it. That's when God filters your circle. That's when He pulls you back, not to punish you, but to protect you, to separate you from the ones who would sabotage your next season. Don't rush to fill empty space. Let the wrong ones leave. Let the real ones find you. Because the ones who are meant to walk with you, they'll recognize your spirit, not just your success. They'll show up when the spotlight is off, and they'll stay when the applause dies down. That's what matters. Your peace, your purpose, your calling, it's too expensive to leave unguarded. You've come too far, learned too much, grown too deeply to allow just anyone into your world. So don't apologize for being selective. That's not pride, it's protection. That's not isolation, it's elevation. You weren't called to blend in, you were called to build. And builders need focus, not fan clubs. So love deeply, trust wisely, and keep that circle small enough that no snakes can slither through. That's how you win without chaos. That's how you walk in power, silently, securely, and surrounded only by the solid. When it's all said and done, the journey to outsmarting everyone silently and without stress doesn't come from trying to prove your worth to the world. It comes from building yourself in silence, moving with intention, and letting your life speak so loud that explanations become unnecessary. It's about understanding that the real power lies not in loud declarations, but in quiet consistency. It's about mastering the art of patience, knowing that every seed you plant in silence will bloom in its own time. You don't need applause at every step. You don't need everyone to know your next move. What you need is inner clarity, focus, and the wisdom to protect your space from noise, chaos, and uninvited opinions. You grow when you keep your heart anchored in discipline and your mind committed to the long game. You rise when you understand the beauty of evolving quietly. You ascend when you realize not everyone deserves a seat at your table, not because you think less of them, but because you think more of your peace. Every time you choose silence over arguments, patience over reaction, and action over attention, you are building something unshakable within yourself. And that kind of strength, it can't be copied. It can't be mimicked. It can't be bought. That's soul built. That's forged in solitude. True growth is not public, it's private. It happens in the early mornings, the late nights, the silent prayers, and the quiet decisions to keep showing up, even when no one's watching. You don't have to broadcast every step. You don't have to fight every battle out loud. Your greatest victories will come when you learn to sit back, observe, and let time reveal what's real. Because those who move with wisdom, with patience, and with divine timing, those are the ones who win in the end. Not because they were the loudest, but because they were the most prepared. So protect your energy, keep your circle tight, keep your goals guarded. Not everyone is supposed to understand you. Not everyone is meant to be part of your process, and that's okay. Trust in the timing, trust in the work, trust in what God placed inside you, because if you stay committed to personal growth, focused on your vision, and rooted in faith, there is nothing and no one that can block what's meant for you. Don't chase approval. Don't react to noise. Just keep building, keep walking, keep rising. Silently, humbly, and powerfully. Thank you for lending me your time and your heart. May this message be a mirror, a reminder, and a push for you to walk your path boldly, but quietly. Protect your peace, own your growth, and never stop believing in the quiet force you are becoming. God bless you. Stay strong, stay focused, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.